Aloha, Freeman Tigers! In your toolkits, you will find a self-portrait head. This is what you're going to use to trace. You also need a large sheet of the paper provided in your ARC toolkit, a pair of scissors, pencil, possibly an eraser, and you need something that you can add color to your project with. So let's start with the self-portrait head. Using the scissors, remember your thumb goes in the small hole, your fingers go in the big hole. You're going to cut out the head carefully. If you are in a younger class, you might want to have a parent help you with this if you are still learning cutting skills. Cut along the black line all the way around. You no longer need this sheet of paper. Feel free to recycle it. Now you have your head. Please notice that it's egg-shaped. So we want to think logically about how our head is shaped. Most of the time, we think of our head as being a circle, but it's not. Look in a mirror closely and notice that your chin area generally is smaller and the top or crown of your head is generally bigger. That's because our brain needs a much bigger space to grow and our mouth needs only the space to chew and talk with. So the big part is where our brain goes, the small part is where our chin is. On your paper, you're going to place it towards the top of the page, taking your fingers, give yourselves a 3-finger space at the top. Okay, just like that. Hold it down with one hand, using the other, your pencil straight up and down, trace around the head. What's wonderful is that if you make a mistake and you need to redo it, you have the head to trace over and over and over with. Now that you've traced your head, we need to think about the basics of how the features of our face are positioned. I like to use light dotted lines to divide my face both vertically and horizontally. So I'm going to draw very lightly dotted lines for vertical first. Try to separate your face in half as best you can. Now horizontal. Again, in the middle of your face. At this point, we need to recognize that the vertical line reminds us that what we draw on one side of the face, we draw on the other, because our face is symmetrical. Now, we need to talk about our features. We're going to start with the eyes. If you take your hand and you put it on the crown of your head, that's the very top of your head, and if you put your finger at the bottom of your chin, and you slowly bring them together at the same speed, you will find at the very center of your face are the eyes. Most of the time we make a mistake and we draw our eyes way up here, but they're actually at the very center of our face. Most eyes are not completely round, nor are they oval going up and down. That is the style that is used in anime art. The eyes are more of an almond shape, pointed towards the ends. Depending on your cultural heritage and your genetic makeup, you might have more of a point, less of a point. You might have eyes that slant more upward or directly in the middle or down. It's best to look in a mirror to see which applies to you. On one side of your face, above the dotted line in the horizontal position, draw a curved line. Repeat that on the bottom. Do that on the other side. If they're asymmetrical, meaning if they're not exactly the same, that's okay. You can go back and erase. The advantage of drawing lightly is that you can go back and erase. Okay. Now, we need to draw our eyelid. The eyelid is going to go from the inner corner to the outer corner right towards the top of your eye. Now, draw the circle of the eye. Your eye is a sphere within the eye socket. We mainly think of the colored area of our eye. The very center, or the pupil, is generally black. The area around it is a color. For some of you, it's a very dark color. For others, it's a very light. For many of us, it's anywhere in between. Again, a mirror is a great place to look and investigate your eye color. At this point, I know that I no longer need my horizontal dotted line. I can gently erase it to remove it from my picture. Okay. Now, I need to place the rest of my features. The first thing I want to add is my nose. My nose is halfway between my eyes and my chin. Many people draw noses as almost like an upside down 7 or other shapes. The truth is, and the easiest way to do a nose would be to use parentheses on either side of your dotted line. Now, I'm going to add a mouth. You can draw a variety of mouths. You can use the paper, the extra paper in the toolkits to design different mouths. But the one thing you need to make sure, and again, look in the mirror, a mouth is not a single line. Often, we like to use one single line. But the truth is, we have a top part of our lip and a bottom part of our lip. Depending on if you are male or female and your personal preference, you might change the shape of that lip. Now, I am female, so I do like a nice general female shape. So I'm going to add that. So the top part of my lid, the bottom of my lid. There we go. And then I can connect. And it does not have to be perfect. My symmetrical vertical line is no longer needed. I can go back and erase that now. We are still missing some features that do need to be added. The next feature would be our ears. Take your finger to the top of your ear and gently bring it towards your eyes, slowly to match your eyes. You will notice that it lines up with the corner of your eye. Now put your finger at the bottom of your ear and do the same thing towards your mouth. You will notice that it'll meet the corner of your mouth. So our ears are actually from here to here, but we don't want sticking out ears. So a lot of people bring ears out this way. We know that our ears stay close to our head. So drawing them close to your head takes some practice, but that's okay. Now I do wear earrings, so I may go ahead and put my earrings. Before we go any further, because I know some of you are thinking, oh, now it's time for the hair. Before we do that, let's add the neck and the shoulders. If you feel for your eyes and go directly down your face, you will notice that the neck and your eyes match up. And then it curves out to your shoulders. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for hair. This one takes a little extra, and during class, I will be showing you some different hairstyles. But for this, I'm going to show a basic one, in particular the one that I would have. First of all, one of the biggest mistakes we make is we think that hair goes on the very top. Ladies and gentlemen, while we do have hair at the top of our heads, our actual hairline, where it starts, is on our forehead. So feel with your hand all the way up to where your hairline is. And while we're doing that, feel just above your eyes. We have more hair there as well. That would be our eyebrows. So we do want to make sure we draw in those eyebrows. Otherwise, we're going to look a little funny. So if you want to do that before your hair, please feel free to do so. So I know that my hair is very much above my eyebrows. But some people who have bangs or longer hair in the front, especially boys, might have their hair closer to their eyebrows. I know that my hairline runs very much like a curve. And I often have my hair pulled back, so that works. At this time, I always wear a flower, so I'm going to include that. If you wear a hair bow or a headband, this is a great time to add that as well. I would go back anywhere that my flower or your headband or bow or any other ornaments that you put in your hair overlap your hair. Go ahead and erase those extra parts. Now it's time for the rest of my hair. As I said in class, in our remote class, I will go into detail on how to add hair, especially for boys and girls that may have their hair up on a regular basis, in ponytails, or even in braids and so forth. So we will review that more in class, so make sure you come to class. But in my particular case, I'm going to show my hair partially up, and then my hair generally starts coming down this way, and sometimes you can see part of my hair flowing a little bit further. I know that my hair goes past my shoulders, so if I wanted to, I could draw some of my hair over my shoulder. In this case, I'm going to make it behind me. I can draw the neckline of my shirt, and I'm going to include right where my arms would start to show. If you wear a necklace, include that in your picture. Make sure you draw big and use your space. Next step is adding color.
Stay tuned for part 2. Aloha!